The Sinai Desert is quiet. Not peaceful quiet in a way that feels vast and exposed. Stone and sand stretch to the horizon. There are no cities, no walls, no shelters. Only a people standing between what they escaped and what they do not yet understand. They have recently left Egypt. For generations, their lives were defined by forced labor, obedience, and survival. Freedom came suddenly, and with it came a new problem: freedom without structure. A nation can escape slavery, but it cannot live without order. At the center of this moment stands Moses. According to the biblical account, he ascends Mount Sinai alone. The people remain below, warned not to follow. The mountain is covered with cloud and fire, imagery not meant to describe geography but separation. What happens there is meant to change everything. This is not the giving of land, not a military strategy, not a political system. It is law. What history will later call the 10 Commandments. These commandments are often misunderstood as religious rules, but in their original context they serve a deeper purpose. They define responsibility to God, to others, and to oneself. The first commandments establish direction. There is one God, no substitutes, no idols formed from fear, gold, or imagination. For a people who had just left a civilization built on gods of power and domination, this was radical. It stripped authority away from kings, nature, and images, and placed moral authority above all of them. Then comes the commandment of rest, one day set apart, not as weakness, but as defiance. In Egypt, slaves worked endlessly. Here, rest becomes a declaration. Human worth is not measured only by labor. To rest is to remember freedom. From there, the focus shifts to human relationships. Honor your father and your mother. This is not sentiment. It is structure. Family is presented as the first institution where respect, responsibility, and continuity are learned. Then come boundaries that shape civilization itself. You shall not murder. This commandment draws a clear line. Life is not negotiable. No authority, human or divine, gives permission to casually destroy it. You shall not commit adultery. In a world without secure inheritance or legal protection, this safeguarded families from collapse. But beyond that, it protects loyalty, the foundation of trust. You shall not steal, not because ownership is sacred, but because injustice poisons society. Theft erodes stability, whether on the street or in power. You shall not bear false witness. Lies are not merely personal failures. They are weapons. In courts, in communities, in history itself, false testimony destroys lives. And then comes the final commandment. It does not address action. It does not mention crime. It speaks to desire. You shall not covet. This is where the law moves inward. It recognizes a truth that modern psychology will confirm thousands of years later. Behavior begins in the mind. Envy precedes conflict. Desire fuels action. Corruption starts long before it becomes visible. The 10 Commandments do not pretend to eliminate human weakness. They expose it. Their language is brief, almost stark. No explanations, no punishments listed. Just statements, clear and uncompromising. That simplicity is what gives them power. Over time, these commandments shaped moral thought, legal traditions, and social norms far beyond ancient Israel. Their influence can be traced through Western law, ethical philosophy, and cultural expectations. Yet they were never presented as easy. They were given to a people who would repeatedly fail to keep them. Centuries passed. Empires rose and fell. Languages changed. Stone tablets became paper, then screens. But human behavior remained familiar. People still justify violence, still excuse dishonesty, still desire what belongs to others. The commandments did not disappear because people became better. They remained because people did not. Today they are quoted in courtrooms, classrooms, and debates. Some see them as divine law, others as moral history. But even now they confront something uncomfortable. They ask where responsibility truly begins, not in systems, not in governments, but in the individual. The 10 Commandments are not a checklist for perfection. They are a mirror, and every generation, when it looks into that mirror, sees the same reflection: human strength, human failure, and the fragile space between freedom and restraint.